Hello everybody and welcome to another A+ 1101 lesson with a practice quiz at the end. As usual, in this one, I'm going to give you the information on everything you need to know in relation to this specific dot point. We're going to go through absolutely everything you need to know, and then at the end, I'm going to give you a practice quiz based on this exam objective specifically. So we're going to make sure you have the information you need, and we're going to make sure you can answer questions like the ones you'll face on the exam relating to this exam objective as well, to give you a little bit of confidence before you head in there. Now, let's go ahead and get straight to it. So this one is about the CompTIA best practice methodology to resolve problems. Now, essentially, it's actually outlined exactly in the exam objective. So they literally give them to you here. So you're going to need to know the order that each of these steps is in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you're going to need to know what each of these consists of. And really, this is a super simple one. I wouldn't get too worried about this. It's going to be one of these ones where we pretty much fly through it, and it should be pretty easy. I'll also give you some tips and tricks relating to how you can remember this information when it comes to actually taking these questions on your exam. So let's get straight to it. This troubleshooting process, first of all, isn't the worldwide troubleshooting process. Each company is probably going to have their own individual troubleshooting process, but for your exam, you need to know CompTIA's specific troubleshooting process, which is what this is. It is what CompTIA thinks you should know, and it is what they will be testing you on. If you pass your A+, you go on to work at some specific cybersecurity company, making that six-figure salary, right, like all the ads promise, then you might have a different one, and that will be specific to that industry, to that particular company. But this is the one we need to know to pass the exam, which is what we're trying to do. We're trying to pass the exam. So we're going to pay attention to this one, and this one only, for the sake of this exam. So it's split into the following components, and this is where I'm going to give you a trick to remember them before I go through them individually. And I'm going to be honest with you, this trick, when I was taking my exam, I literally relied almost entirely on this trick. I didn't even focus on having a fundamental understanding of each of these steps. This trick allowed me to get every single question relating to this completely correct. So I highly recommend that you just focus on using this trick. Of course, also understand it. I'm always going to say understand it, but if you're pressed for time particularly, this trick is pretty helpful. So it is split into the following components. Identify the problem, you then establish a theory, you then test the theory, you establish a plan of action, you verify full system functionality, and then you document the findings. So even just the titles of those are pretty self-explanatory, but we will go into them in detail. I break it down into this little mnemonic device. So I say, I enjoy taking everyone's internet very diligently. So I stands for identify, enjoy stands for establish a theory, taking stands for test the theory, everyone's internet stands for establish, plan, and implement, and then vary stands for verify, diligently stands for document. I enjoy taking everyone's internet, and I want you to try to use this in the exam questions I give you at the end of this video and see if this is enough to get you through those questions. I enjoy taking everyone's internet very diligently. So if the question says, for example, you have just identified the customer's requirements, what is the next step you should take according to the CompTIA troubleshooting process? Say, I enjoy. It's going to start with E. One of the 4 multiple choice options you're going to be given is going to start with E. Very rarely will you be given 2. It'll either be establish a theory or establish, plan, and implement. So you can very quickly narrow it down, and from there you can just use logic to deduct if you do have 2 starting with E, right? But that's pretty much what I use. So give that a go at the end. Well, that being said, we'll move on to the first one, identify the problem. So this is all about, first of all, of course, it's in the name. We're trying to figure out what the issue is. The key components here that you might actually be asked more specific questions on in your exam is you're going to want to ask a lot of questions. And one specific question you're definitely going to want to ask is, has anything changed in the environment or infrastructure recently? So for example, if they're having intermittent network connectivity, have there been any changes in the environment? And if they say yes, you can start to theorize. Perhaps that change in the environment is what has caused this issue. What about that change could cause the issue? Let's investigate that. So you can start to dial in very easily. That is a question you want to focus on asking. Other than the other kinds of questions. On top of that, you want to make sure you're getting details and you do make backups before moving on to any kind of further troubleshooting steps. But importantly for this exam objective, it's mostly about asking these questions, getting the information, but also how you're actually interacting with this person. So they might be frustrated with you. They might be yelling at you down the phone. It is, of course, important that Despite this person over here is yelling at us, we do maintain a professional and compassionate set of mannerisms while speaking to them. They're frustrated. We have to make sure we maintain our professionalism while communicating with them and understand that they're frustrated, but we must not allow ourselves to buy into that, and we gotta keep our cool. So you'll be asked about how you go about emotionally communicating with this person. Make sure you remain calm, cool, collected, and professional, and the kind of questions you should be asking. So has anything changed in the environment? Other than that, we'll move on. Establish a theory. So you've now gathered that information from them. You're now going to, based on the information you've gathered, create a theory of what you think the issue might be. So they've given you that information. Based on that information, what do I think the theory could be? That's the next step, right? Ideally, you're creating a list of possible solutions. That way, it just makes it easy to run through that list and just kind of tick them off or cross them off, and then eventually you'll get to one that is, in fact, the issue. If not, you'll go back to the drawing board. Then, once you've created that list, you'll test your theory, right? So you'll test that theory and see if that is, in fact, actually the issue. After that, you might confirm that that is actually the problem. From there, you're going to establish a plan of action. Okay, this is the problem. I have figured this out. Now, what is my plan of action? I might have to go back, figure out how am I going to implement my solution to this problem. I've now confirmed what the issue is. I've got to figure out how I'm going to implement a solution. It might be a wide-scale issue, particularly. That would require a significant plan as to how to implement it. If it's just a simple one, like plugging a new cord into a monitor, of course, that's very simple. But if it's a wide-scale issue, you're going to need a significant plan as to how you're going to go about this and what's going to be required for you to be able to do that. So that is the next step. And finally, the second last one is verify full system functionality. Make sure it works. Is what that means. Make sure it works. And once you've confirmed that you do have full system functionality, make sure you're documenting the findings. So you're documenting the symptoms, you're documenting what the issue was, how did you fix it, and what the effects were after you implemented the changes that you did. So did it return to full system functionality, etc. This is important because someone else after you might encounter similar issues, and they can look up previous tickets relating to similar symptoms and see, okay, other people encountered these systems, that was this issue, this is how they fixed it. Maybe I'll start there when I'm establishing my theory, right? That's pretty much it, guys. Now, we're going to head into question time, but before we do, I'm going to give you a quick word from our sponsor for today. Hey guys, I'm just here to tell you that the A+ 1101 learning package with the practice exams, the learning guide that people are absolutely loving, and the performance-based question simulation is on sale for the next 3 days, and that is on sale for $50. So you're getting $25 off only the next 3 days. If you want that, go grab it. All right, let's go back to the questions. All right, let's get straight into the questions. We've got a couple for you today on this topic. We'll get straight into it. Question 1 reads, you are tasked with troubleshooting a computer issue. Following the CompTIA troubleshooting process, what is the correct order of steps you should take? A, B, C, or D? I'll let you read through them. I'm not going to read them out because there's a lot there. Have a read through them. Pause the video if you need time, but I'm going to be heading straight to our answer. 3, 2, 1. Now your answer is A. Identify, establish a theory, test the theory, establish a plan, verify full system functionality, and document the findings. Now remember, if you use that trick, I enjoy taking everyone's internet very diligently. Right? That should have helped you get your way through that process. Let's try that on the next one if we didn't there. Next question. According to the CompTIA troubleshooting methodology, what should you do after establishing a theory of probable cause? A. Establish a plan of action. B. Verify full system functionality. C. Test the theory to determine the cause. Or D. Identify the problem. Pause the video if you need more time. Going to get straight into it in 3, 2, 1, now. The answer is C, test the theory to determine the cause. Again, if we head back and we use that trick, what should you do after establishing a theory? I enjoy, right? So, okay, we're at enjoy. I enjoy taking. The next one's going to start with T. It's C. Even if we don't understand the process, just for the sake of the exam, it has to be C based on that, right? So again, if we didn't use it there, try to use it on the next one. But I do believe it was helpful for me when I was taking my exam. Now, the next question reads, you have collected all relevant information concerning a customer's technical issues and verified full system functionality. What is the next step? A. Establish a theory of probable cause. B. Test the theory to determine the cause. C. Document the findings, actions, and outcomes. Or D. Establish a plan of action to resolve the problem. Pause the video if you need more time. We're going to get straight into it in 3, 2, 1. Now, the answer was C. Document the findings, actions, and outcomes. Don't get tricked up on this one. So it said you've collected all information, which might make you think, oh, they've just identified the problem. But it also said you have verified full system functionality. So that is we know that we've done the verification of full system functionality, which means we're going to go to the one that comes after that, which is in fact document. So again, I enjoy taking everyone's internet verify very diligently. Diligent starts with a D, boom, right? Use that trick, we'll be sweet. Now guys, if you have enjoyed this video, if you like the way that I broke it down, I do have resources over at journeytocyber.com. My learning guide over here on the left breaks everything down, not only into exam objective, but also into each dot point for each exam objective. You have learning activities, questions with answers, active recall questions in there, getting a lot of good feedback on there. Check out this feedback. Your notes helped me pass my tests today. Thanks, no problem. I'm glad you enjoyed them. The guide is good. It has helped me make everything a lot clearer. Your learning guide is goated. I don't comment a lot, but it helps with organized information. I try to focus on organizing information in a way that's useful for learning, break everything down exactly how it should be, make it all really clear and simple for you. And finally, I downloaded your learning guide. I can see it will be very helpful while studying. Now, I also have on the right my practice exams, 5 practice exams, each of which has performance-based questions. That is very, very handy for preparing for your exam if you want that extra boost of confidence. And also my performance-based question simulations are over at journeytocyber.com as well. And this is currently on special for $25 off. So go grab those if that's something you're interested in. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video, guys. Have a good one.